Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is DLS and I'm here with a new video. So what we're going to be doing today is breaking down the beat that I did for the Kyle Beats Finish My Beat contest. In case you're unaware what that is, right now Kyle Beats is hosting a contest where you take one of the loops out of his free loop pack called Pluto and you do your own spin on it. And my beat, it's already finished and everything. I'm just going to walk you through the process on everything that I did and hope you enjoy. All right, let's go. Okay, all right, so here we are. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're just gonna play the loop that I had chose. So here it is. Okay, all right, so that is the loop of choice here for this beat. So the first thing that I noticed about this was the dark piano keys he had in there, and I was like, oh, here we go, because I love to make some dark stuff for sure. So right here, luckily he has this labeled D sharp minor. This made it pretty easy to find the keys that he played. So then all I did was I opened up my own piano VST and I just went through and I just put those keys back in there. So here they are. So that's all he's playing right there. The next thing, when I first heard this beat, when I first heard the loop, I was like, yo, I can definitely hear like some grimy bass on top of this. So that was the next thing that we went to go work on. So right now I'm just gonna show you what I came up with for my grimy bass. So here it is. Okay, and then so I wanted to layer that with some choir. So here is the choir by itself. Okay, so that right there is the choir. So both of them together, this is what it sounds like. All right, and there we go. So there we have our grimy bass. That's where we started off at. I also decided that I wanted to add in a few more keys on top of that, just to give it a little more, or a little bit more movement, a little bit more sinister sound to it. So here's what this sounds like. Okay, so there we go. So there's that, and for that I just put in a bunch of reverb and delay, and that's what came out. Sounds super good. Okay, so the next piece was our drums and our snares and our hi-hats, blah blah blah. So here we go. So first let's preview the kick. Okay, then we got some hi-hats. Nothing too crazy there. All we did was just put a little bit of reverb on that. Next up, something simple. Here's our snare. Okay. And then I added in this little perk here. And then I also have some extra hi-hats that come in just a little bit later. Okay, so I added a little bit of reverb to that as well. So all that together, it don't sound like much by itself, but this is what it sounds like all together. All right. Okay, so there we go. Now that is where we have our drum loop. Okay, so the next part that we did is I decided that I wanted to add in some other sounds. So I added in some vocals, some little voxes. So here's one. Here's the next one. And then I have this one. And then I also decided that I wanted to add in just a little drum fill. And here's what this sounds like. Okay, and so that came out of Curtis King's Tomfoolery drum pack that he came out with just recently. It's free as well. Shouts to Curtis King for that one. The next one, I use this vocal sound as a riser. And then to layer on top of the hi-hats that come in just a little bit later, I added this. Okay. And so this is what that all sounds like together. Okay, so there we go. So that's our start. The next thing though, what we need to add is of course our 808. Can never forget the 808. Here we go. So this is what my 808 sounds like. Okay, so there we go. So that is my 808. All I did for that was I added a little bit of distortion in there. And then I also added in the little slide note thingy here. I don't know what it's specifically called. It just does the slide notes. And then I added it right here. I did the same note and I just dropped it down an octave, which gives it that little slow down there. Okay. And then, so with that all together, that's what this sounds like. Okay, and then of course later I added in the same high keys that I put in earlier in the beat, and then here's that. And there we go. That is the first part of our beat. So you might be wondering, hey, how did you get that slowdown effect? So I actually had that happen a couple of times in the beat. So I have it happen right here. And then of course, then I have it again here at the end. Okay, so all I did for that, how I made that, was right here in the master, all I did was I had this VST called D-Blue Tape Stop. And all I did was I came here to the trigger and I just created the automation clip. And then once it's in here, you just click in these to have it activate right here in the spot, wherever the spot is that you want it to activate. And then you adjust the slowdown here, which will adjust how fast or how slow that it does it. So that's all I did for that. D-Blue Tape Stop is a free VST that you can go and get. So, and it's very niche. It does that one thing, but it does it very well. So there you go. Okay, so here we are to our second part of the song. So the first thing I wanted to do when I started this was I wanted to have some kind of vox that would let you know that this ain't it. We're just getting started. So I myself recorded this vocal in, and this is what it sounds like by itself. We're just getting started. Okay, and so all I did on that was I just put some reverb and some delay. I actually used this VST right here called Valhalla Supermassive. This is also another free VST. And it just sounds amazing. It does an extremely good job. If you're into beat making and you haven't picked that up, definitely go make sure to pick that up. Okay, and then the next thing I did is I wanted to add like just like a little sound effect, you know, so I found this radio sound. And so I put that in there, and I just cut off this last piece because I didn't like the last part of it. And then after that, we're gonna go and show our keys. So this is what we played. Okay, so there we go. So that right there is our keys. Then all we did was he put on some hats. Okay, there's that. And then I brought back these hi-hats from the other beat. And then I also brought back in, of course, the loop, because the whole point of it is to build on top of the loop. And then of course, I added in some bass. Okay, so there we go. So there is our bass. I also brought back in the vocal riser that I used earlier in the last beat. And then down here, I decided that I wanted to add in I wanted to have like a little bit more variation to go on here as we get into the highlight of this second part. So what I did is I added in some pad. Okay, so there's that. All we did was we just copied over the same keys that we played, the same notes that we played for the piano, and we just copy and pasted that over into the pad. And then we also added in some strings. Okay, so like I said, once again, all we did was we just copy and pasted those over just so we can layer on top of those piano. And then I also added in this, just a little crash. And I found this bell tree. And then of course, here later, I add in my Vox again.
We're just getting started.
And then over here for the drums, it's essentially pretty much the same as we did in the beginning piece, except that I used a different kick on this one. And so the kicks, it's a little different than the first piece. And then we brought the snare back from the last beat, and we just put it here. But then I layered it with just this clap here. Okay. And so that is how this sounds.
We're just getting started.
Okay, there we go. I also forgot to mention I had added in these to add to the bass to give it just kind of a little more funky feel. I added in this, so. Hold on, I have it in the, I still have it, I had it in the blue. I had it in the blue, the tape stop here, so then it wasn't playing it. Okay, so that's what's giving it that kind of like little funky sound. Like, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but there's that. And then so here at the end, what I tend to like to do is like just have the keys just go solo for a little bit, and then I actually layered on some more keys on top of that. So here's what those sound like. Okay, and what that sounds like all together. Okay, so there is the beat breakdown of the beat that I did for the Kyle Beats Finish My Beat contest. Right now, this contest is still going on, so if you want, I will leave a link in the description where you can go and check out my beat and vote for me. Admittedly, it is very hard to find me right now because you go on there, there's just so many people that are uploading, so you definitely get lost in the crowd there. So if you do go through it and take the time to actually find me, I'll probably like link some kind of like video to show kind of where I'm at the spot, so you know what to look for. But if you definitely go through and take the time to do that, I'll really appreciate it. You don't have to, but if you do, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to the video. It was probably kind of rough. I apologize for that. It's my first time doing it. If there's anything that I missed, just let me know. And then hopefully with time, I can get a lot better at doing this content. So without further ado, I just want to mention, it's crazy that I've recorded this video this whole time and my dog has been so quiet. My dog is just right there. And she's been so quiet, and she normally is barking off the charts. It's amazing. Anyways, all right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a nice day. Bye.